Welcome to the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast, the podcast where we make 5-minute decisions that can change your business, your relationships, and your life. Hey, what is up? This is Dean Soto, President, CEO, founder of ProSaloom.com and FreedomIn5Minutes.com, and we're here again for another episode of the Freedom in 5 Minutes podcast. Today's episode is that sushi boat is Smokin. That and more coming up. Well, all right. We have a very interesting show today. First and foremost, our co-host is back. However, she's not here right now. She is back. Marissa is back, and we actually did a video, so if you go to the Freedom in 5 Minutes YouTube channel, you will be able to see our last post that we did there. That was entitled, what was that entitled? That was Time to Wake Up. And I'm not going to give the gist of it. I'm not going to give the whole plot away, but it's a pretty cool thing that's happened in our family with the 5-minute decision that we made. We are a homeschooling family, leaning toward the unschooling side of things, and we did some pretty cool stuff that is really transforming our family. All that being said, that is something you want to go check out at YouTube, so Freedom in 5 Minutes, go there and check it out. Just search for Freedom in 5 Minutes, subscribe, all that other jazz. Alright, okay, so right before we get into the story, I am sitting out in front of a donut store. It's about 5:57 a.m. Just got finished with my gym workout, and I'm waiting for some specialty donuts to go bring to the family. But yes, hopefully they open up soon. It's supposed to open up at 6. We'll see. So last night, my wife and I had our date night, and I had no clue where we were going to go. I seriously had no clue whatsoever. Every Thursday we go out on a date night. That's a decision that we made. We stick to it, and we kind of just splurge. Honestly, I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, if we're spending too much money or whatever, but all I can say is that I made that decision for us, and the reason being was so often we invest in, especially as an entrepreneur, I invest in my business, but I don't invest in my family, I don't invest in my wife, I don't invest in other things that are super, super important, thinking that if I invest in my business, that it's all going to trickle down and everything's going to be all right. But, of course, we see so many very successful people getting massive divorces and all this other stuff, so probably not the best idea. Anyway, we do date nights every Thursday night. It is a mandatory thing. We will not have a date night. Even if we go out for an hour and it's to go to CVS to buy some things, whatever it is just us. Right now we take the baby, but generally it is just us, and we go out on a date. So, as I was saying, last night we drove down to the city, and I had no clue where to go at all. And we ended up going to this one restaurant called Wasabi, Wassabi, I believe. Anyway, they spelled it with 2 S's. That's the way they did it. But anyway, we went to this restaurant, and it was cool. It's kind of a hip, kind of modern Japanese-ish. Obviously, since it's wasabi, it's going to be Japanese, but a Japanese-ish restaurant. And we're sitting there, we're talking, we're doing our thing, and so on. And we ordered some hot sake, and the guy comes with we already had the menu and came to take our order. Now the menu is the menu was a whole bunch of stuff, and if you've ever been to a Japanese restaurant, which I'm sure you have, I studied Japanese for years, been to Japan a couple of times. I love Japan. I love Japanese food. It's just all of it's fantastic. The language, the culture, the food, everything is so awesome. Love it. However, I always, when it comes to sushi and just the menu, there's so many choices. So many choices, and I never know which one to pick. And it's always, obviously, a little bit more expensive than most other restaurants. And so you want to make a good choice, right? So I'm looking at the menu, and it's just tons of choices of what you could get for sushi. So I asked Marissa what she wanted, and she's like, oh, I don't know, whatever. And I'm looking at it going, I don't know what I want. But they had an option on there called the sushi boat. Or sorry, yeah, it was a sushi boat, but it was called the pirate ship. There's two boats, pirate ship and the Titanic. At least that's what they called it. The beauty of it was they just gave you a whole bunch of stuff. A whole bunch of stuff. The downside of it was that it was about $80. And I'm like, oh, that's expensive in my mind. And so the waiter comes back around, and he says, he asked what what we would like, and I said, well, what do you recommend for two people? Just like a whole bunch of stuff, and he kind of was not quite sure. He kind of said, well, you can go this route, or you could do this, or whatever. And I said, okay, well, because I was just kind of thinking he's not even helping at all. And I said, well, what about this pirate ship? And he said, oh yeah, that's really good. It's for 4 people, but you guys could probably power through it and eat all of it. And it's really cool. It's really cool how it comes out and everything like that. And I didn't even know what that meant. He said, it's really cool how that comes out. I said, all right, well, and I looked at Marissa, and she's all, yeah, that sounds great. She did not see the price, by the way. She didn't see how much it cost. And she's all, yeah, that's great. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. And so I just obviously decided at that point, okay, let's just do it. Well, we were waiting and talking, and I love our date nights because we're always able to talk about things that we can't really talk about in the family life, especially when I'm pissed off about something and I can pretty much talk unfiltered. And the waiter, so I'm sitting with my back toward the kitchen. We're outside on the patio. I literally can. The only thing I can see is my wife, our baby that we had to bring. Not that I don't love my beautiful bonbon, but we had to bring him to our date night because he's still breastfeeding and everything. And I can look out onto the parking lot. My wife, Marissa, looks over my shoulder and goes, oh, wow. And I'm thinking, what? Okay, it's a boat. We had a sushi boat on our first date. Not that big a deal. Well, turns out that the sushi boat comes with like liquid nitrogen or dry ice or whatever, and it's just smoking all over the place. It looks so cool. So he brings it out, puts it on our table, and our whole table is filled with smoke. And it's just, you see all this sushi and you see all this cool smoke coming from it, and it really does look like this ghost pirate ship that you can eat, which that's like seriously the best type of pirate ship, ghost pirate ship at least. So you can eat it while it's smoking, and it is, to me, it was such a cool experience. Our whole table, everybody else is, eating their little sushi over here and drinking their little Asahi or Sapporo. Oh, oh yes, it's so good over here on all these other tables, and here we are, freaking pirate ship with smoking smoke, and it was friggin' cool. It led to such a cool date night. I didn't even have to decide on any of the food. We just had a whole bunch of different sashimi, different sushi, took some video and pictures for Instagram. Then I used that Instagram to tag one of my friends, which led to a conversation on Instagram, and really built out that relationship with him. He's also a business friend, and so it ended up being a really cool thing that'll $80 for something like that might sound expensive, but it really did lead to, actually, I think it'll actually even lead to more business because of the whole Instagram, and just keeping a relationship alive by tagging a friend that I thought of because of this thing, who is amazing. He's just an amazing guy and good foodie. He's always taking pictures of food and stuff, so I'll try to one up him. But anyway, really, really, really cool, because that one decision led to something that was completely unexpected and brought so much joy to my wife, so much joy to me, to my kids when I showed them the video when we went home, and it was just all amazing. It was great, and then I didn't have to freaking go and decide on all of the food. It brought a lot of freedom in just us being able to talk and us being able to enjoy and not complain or anything like that. So the reason why this is important is that often we get so hung up on the cost of something, the price of something. Now, there are situations, it doesn't mean to go blow your money on things that are super, super expensive, but often we don't see the cost of something. We might see the price of something, but we might not see the cost of something. The price of something, like that sushi boat, might have been, $80, but the cost, if that didn't happen, might have been the fact that we got something that neither of us liked. We would have missed out on that totally cool experience. We would have also not had the ability to share that experience with our friends on Instagram, with our children when we got home, and really the date night would have just been boring, right? It would have just been super boring. No, I mean, not super boring. It's never. Don't tell Marissa I said that. But the point is that if we looked at the price, it could have stole our joy. At the cost of all of this amazing stuff that really was truly an investment in my wife, an investment in my family, investment in my friends, an investment in my business as well. That indirectly, at least, and in fact, look at this podcast right here. It gave me a cool story to be able to tell, right? So often we look too much at the price of something and not at the costs. Especially as entrepreneurs, if you're an entrepreneur listening to this, if you're a business owner, especially a successful business owner who spends 90% of his money on his business, but 10% on friends, family, his wife, your husband, whatever, your children, and so on, it's way off balance. This is something that I truly, truly learned in the last year, was that I was spending so much more money on my business. I have no problem saying, hey, honey, I went and got a $5,000 coaching program. Honey, I paid $10,000 for advertising this month. And here she is. She's like, okay, well, you won't even pay $1,000 to go on a quick vacation with me, and we haven't gone on a vacation in a year or two. You suck. So the often we have to we especially when it comes to our relationships, especially when it comes to things that might seem like the price is high. Sometimes the cost of not doing it is even higher. Okay. Sometimes the cost of not doing it is higher. That family trip that you've been wanting to take, that you've been dying to do, or that you've just been talking about for the last year or two, start saving for it. Make the decision now, the 5-minute decision, to start saving for it. Set up an account and start putting $100 every 2 weeks, or $100 every month, or $200 every month, or whatever it is that's going to take you to that point where you can actually realize that goal. Okay, whatever it might be, the cost of not doing it might be more expensive than the actual price tag. That the price of divorce is far more expensive than a $5,000 vacation that you've been talking about for the last 3 years. The price of losing your children, or at least your children not wanting to be with you anymore, is far more expensive than taking them to an amusement park for a day, right? There's so many times when we look too much at the price that if we just made the quick decision to make something happen, then we will not face that cost. So what right now are you looking heavily at the price? You're looking at the price, especially this is especially true when it comes to family. What are you looking at the price and not really seeing the cost? And you're being stuck in not being able to make the decision. Even right now, if you could just make the decision to start saving to make that thing happen, it is a huge, huge, huge step into freedom. All right, that one decision is a huge step into freedom, because you will see that as soon as you start saving, it becomes a reality. It might have been 3 years that you said, I'm going to take my children to Disneyland or to some amusement park or whatever. And it's been that way you've been saying that forever. As soon as you make the decision that I am going to start saving now, I'm going to take a percentage of whatever it is, I'm going to start saving now. As soon as you do that, it's going to make a huge difference. So what is that one thing where the price is causing you to be paralyzed, or to say, no, it's not the right time, but you're ignoring the cost? What is the cost? I want you to just take a moment and find that one thing where the price seems like it's high, but the cost, you don't realize if you look into it, is actually much, much higher. So, all right, I got to go. I got to get my donuts. So, freedomin5minutes.com, personalloom.com. This is Dean Soto, and we will see you in the next episode.